Baby, yesterday I didn't sleep very well. I'm suspecting that your mother is a witch. Either your mother or your father, one of them must be a witch.
Hello, my son. I want to advise you. You have to warn your wife so that your wife will have to be behaving well. You are my son and I'm your father. You have to let your wife know that there are certain things, there are certain kind of behavior she has to put
Oh,
on.
my son. Please, you have to warn your wife very well. Warn your wife the way your wife greeted me today. She greeted me with her nose.
Baby, right now you are in this house. You make sure you obey my father and my mother. And anytime you're washing, ask my mother if her clothes is dirty. They are my parents, they are my younger ones. Please, as long as you're here in this family house, you have to obey all
These are the kind of things you see when you marry your wife and bring her into the family house to come and live, with no hope of even living or getting your own apartment or getting your own place. So, with this, I want to say welcome to, once again, everyone to this thing called Love, Relationship and Marriage. And as usual, I'm your host and my name is Sandra Wealth. So today, I want to talk about the family house. This is something that I've been meaning to talk about since, because I actually have a lot of friends, family members that have gone through a lot of things living in the family house. I'm not saying family house is bad. I'm not saying your parents have become bad, or I don't know. I'm not saying your siblings are bad, because what I'm saying is there are certain kind of things, lifestyle you will not expect to live with your wife as long as you are living in the family house. There's going to be so many interference in your relationship, in your marriage. It doesn't matter whether your father built a mansion. It doesn't even matter whether you are the first son of the family, because sometimes you see in many African culture or many African families, they say he's the first son, so he has to stay there. As long as your parents are still in the house, your siblings are still there, your mother is a large family, there are certain things it is not advisable for you to still live in the same house when you marry or you bring in your wife. I am not saying it is not compulsory that people, you listening to me, have to take this, but to avoid certain issue, it is important. That is the essence of this video. Okay, you know your family, you know how you are. I'm not saying every family is bad. There are a lot of people who have lived peacefully, successfully, lovingly with their in-laws. So many people have lived peacefully and lovingly with their in-laws. Okay, but no matter how peaceful or loving your wife is or your parents are, there is always this something somewhere, except the wife is actually matured enough to be able to probably be patient, okay, with your family or your people. But sometimes it gets to a point. In short, let me not just say sometimes, even if there are a lot of people who have lived peacefully with in-laws in the family house for years, the percentage of those who were not able to live peacefully, they are much. So much. In short, it is like up to, let's say, 90% of people have not been able to live peacefully for an elongated time with their in-laws, which includes both your own siblings and your parents. So because of that, I'm not going to talk about the percentage that have lived peacefully. I'm going to talk about the 90% or even much more. I don't know. I'm just guessing the percentage. Probably your own, it could be less or it could even be higher. But I'm going to work with that, okay? But I know that the percentage of people who have had issues living with their wife in their family house, the percentage is extremely high. And a lot of time, this has caused problems in the marriage. And this has caused a lot of issues rising every day. Today, if you're not settling with your mother and settling the case between your mother and your wife, tomorrow it could be between your mother, your wife and your sibling. It could be between your father and your wife. So those are the kind of things you avoid. It's not because they all are bad. It could even be, doesn't mean your family is bad. Even your wife could even be the bad wife. Okay, you understand? Because there are a lot of people that can't even live with anybody. There are a lot of women you bring in, even if you have a very loving family, because all the issues that have happened, people are always against the family, most times. Okay, only on very few occasions that you see the case where it is against the wife. So you see a lot of people will say, my brother married a bad wife and brought into the family. But most cases, in most major cases, it is usually the family against the wife. Okay, that is how people have viewed it over time. That is why it is not advisable in whichever way. It is not advisable for you to marry your wife and bring her into the family house to stay or to live. One day, it could even be 5 years later. It could be depending on how patient each person is. Okay, your wife may be a very patient woman, and probably it gets to a time she may not be able to take it anymore. And sometimes, even if she's not the troublesome one, she may bear it so much and bear it so much, but that will make her to become unhappy. And as long as your wife is unhappy, you are not going to be a happy man. There's this saying I heard recently. A happy wife is a happy man, and a happy wife is a happy marriage. And it's the truth. Okay, it is the truth. But in certain situations too, it could be that your family is the better one, and they may not be able to tolerate, maybe because of you, they just you as your wife, thereby they are trying to tolerate your wife with all her bad character and all her bad attitude. Okay, and at the end of the day, that could cause a strain in the relationship you have with your family and your sibling. You understand? So that is why it is advisable you leave. The Bible said that a man will leave the father and the mother. In short, it is not even biblical. It is not biblical. Not that everybody, we see a lot of people who are in the Bible who actually married their wife and brought into their father's house. But that is actually not what the scripture said. Actually, the scripture said a man should leave the father and the mother. It didn't even say when you are going, take your mother along. Not that I'm saying you should not take care of your mother, or your mother shouldn't come staying or visiting. That is why what patience and understanding still comes into play here. But the Bible specifically said a man should leave the father and mother and be joined to cleave to his wife, and both of them shall become one. He didn't even say you are joined to your mother. He didn't say you are joined to your father. No, he said your wife. In essence, what I'm trying to say is that you could be one of these person that grew up in a family that the father is extremely rich and has a lot of houses. In short, let him give you another house somewhere in another location. Don't come. It is even better that it's on the next street. It is better. With that, you will be respected as a man. Your wife will be respected as your wife, and your family will be respected by your wife. There is something they call this in Nigeria, call it see finish. Over familiarity. It can come from both sides. It can come from both sides, even if they are patient and very understanding and a very good upbringing family. Strain, tension can happen. It can happen. It may not happen now. It could even happen between them and their children, the children of this brother and the children of this. Your people have already heard stories about this thing happening. That is why it is not advisable. It is better if you do not have money to get your own place. It is better you try by all means. You get it, even if it's one room. It doesn't matter whether your father had a mansion, had chains of, you are living in a mansion before. It is better you go get your own one room, okay, where you stay with your wife. And then it is better that she comes to visit and spend 1 year in that house. But let her have a place that she can call her own. That is the ideal thing to do. That is the ideal thing to do. So that you can always leave and come and leave, whichever way. Okay, so that is why the things we talk about here are usually the things, the happenings in the society regarding marriage. So we are trying to share our own ideas to make sure that the kind of things that are happening in marriages today, that they are reduced by all means, so that the rate of divorce, the rate of issues, problem, misunderstanding in families, in marriage can be reduced. Okay, and we are hoping. And if you put some of these things to work, that you're going to have good results and marriage can be happy once again. Okay, because a lot of people are already saying that there is no more good marriages. There are actually good marriages. Okay, you just have to put certain principles and apply wisdom to certain things so that your marriage can actually be a very, very good one. Okay, worthy of emulation. So we are hoping that the things we discussed on this channel, this thing called love, relationship and marriage, is actually helping a lot of marriages, because so many people actually don't know where they get it wrong, so they end up trying to blame people, blame this, blame that. But there are little things that could have been avoided, okay, so that you can also be happy in your marriage. So thank you so much for listening, and if any of this advice we give here, if you've applied it in your marriage and it has worked for you, please don't hesitate to share with us on this channel too. God bless you, and thank you very much. And if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do. We are in YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. LIKEE. We are in like all the social medias, okay? So thank you so much, and do have a wonderful day. God bless you.